Hey everybody, what's going on? Your host AMF1534 here. Welcome back to Let's Play some more Gran Turismo 2, the real driving simulator. So, I know, I haven't played this in a few days actually. I kind of took a nice break off because I know exactly what we have to do right now. And I know you guys are going to hate me for it, and I don't blame you for hating me for it because it's not going to be great. But we have to do a good old-fashioned endurance race. I know, it's not going to be fun because it takes forever, but man, you're really not going to like this one because it really takes forever. This one was only 30-something, or I think it was like 30-something laps. This one, my friends, it's 50 laps. It's going to take longer, but the prize is awesome. It's you know, 350K, and I'm sure the prize car is amazing. So, here we go. I know. You can be mad all you want. I'm right there with you. I'm not smitten with enjoyment about this either, but it's got to happen one way or the other. So we're using this car. We've used this before, and we had pretty good success with it. So we're gonna roll with it. We're going to do that. Now, I had a couple of people that were actually requesting that I use the Tuscan Speed 12 in this situation, and you know, I thought about it, I mulled it over in my brain a little bit. I even gave it a test drive, and just from that test drive alone, I am absolutely not using that car, as you can tell, because I'm not using it. For one key reason, the handling on that car is absolutely god-awful. Like, it sucks, too, because if that car had really good handling, I would use it in a second, because it has, like, I think it had like 800 and something horsepower. Like, that would be enough of a reason to use it. Not to mention, like, the engine, when it revs up, it sounds so awesome. It's just like, it sounds not even like a car. Like, it sounds almost like a, I don't know, like some other, like, super awesome vehicle of some kind. Like maybe like a helicopter or something, if helicopters sounded like that, I guess. But it sounded super cool. And I would have loved to have used it, but the handling was terrible. Like, the car would totally spin out of control, like, every single turn you would take. So, it's just like, that's like the worst thing about a car is, like, it doesn't matter how much horsepower and how fast it is. If you can't control it, then there's no point in using it. So, there's that. I mean, we had, like, those 1,000 horsepower drag cars earlier in the game that we came up on, but no point in using them because the thing couldn't turn for shit. So, you know, that's the end of that. So, I mean, at least with this car, I mean, you do, you know, lose a little bit of horsepower, not a whole lot, because this car can, you know, blaze a damn trail. But the part is that, you know, I can actually control this car, and I can control it really well. You know, God forbid that I, you know, have this thing start careening out of control because I said that now. But, I mean, we have to be able to have, especially in a race like this where the competition is pretty damn good, we have to be able to establish a lead, and we have to be able to do it quickly. Like, this is not the kind of race where you want to fiddle fart around and have people, you know, still hanging out in your vicinity. It's just, this is not a good idea. So, I'm trying to build that said lead as much as I can right now, and so far we're doing okay with that. This is actually a little surprising for me. I did not anticipate that we'd be building this much of a lead, especially because there's a Nissan GT1 in here, and you know how we've already been with that. He, you know, is super pissed off that I edged him out in a total technicality tie in that GT Championship Series. So you know he wants to try to, you know, give me one. He wants to give me the old Shankopotamus right in the old keister, but I won't let him. I'm going to make sure that he gets nothing. By the way, oh dude, I gotta tell you guys this. It was so creepy. So, and this would happen to me too, by the way, because I watched a really long Ghost Adventures marathon today because, you know, I was downstairs watching TV and I was, you know, home by myself, and so that's usually what happens to me on a Saturday if I'm home by myself. I start watching ghost stuff because I can. And there were some really good ones too, like the Cripple Creek episode of Ghost Adventures is definitely one of the best ones. It's so awesome. There's some compelling shit in there. But that's not what the point is. The point is I watched it for like 2 or 3 hours, and it was like right before my parents got home. I was walking in my kitchen, and it was just me, there was nobody else home, and I was like sitting there getting something to drink, and then all of a sudden I heard this super loud crashing noise. It was just this one loud crashing noise, and dude, it's making my skin tingle just thinking about it right now. I heard this super loud crashing noise, and it was like, it sounded like it came from the garage. Was my first thought. Was that it came from the garage. It sounded like it's like something falling off of like a table, like some type of metal instrument falling off the table is what it sounded like. And so it immediately caught my attention. I was like, what the fuck was that? And so, you know, I went and I literally went into my kitchen and I grabbed a butcher knife. I grabbed like the biggest knife that we had in there, because the gun safe was all the way upstairs. I'm not running up there first because I had to go check that out too. So I grabbed the knife and I went out in the garage and turned the light on. Started looking around everywhere to make sure maybe it wasn't like anything, I guess. And so I didn't see anything. I mean, I don't have like one of those types of garages where there's there's like little nooks and crannies that things can hide in, like people. And I didn't see anything. I mean, there's nothing there, nothing out of the ordinary whatsoever. And it was really weird. So with that knowledge, I started going, and I went through every other room in the house on the bottom floor, and so I was like, well, wait a minute, what if it was in my room? I mean, I can't think of anything that would have been in my room that would have fallen, that would have done that, unless my computer desk broke, which obviously you can tell at this very moment that I'm making this, that obviously was not the case, because that would have been really bad. But so I went up in my room, and I started looking around, and thank God that my room is clean, by the way, because that's a much easier way to determine whether something fell or not. And there's nothing out of the ordinary there, and so my last thought was, well, shit, man, what if it was in the storage room? There's a lot of things in that storage room, and it is a scary-ass storage room. So I was like, please don't let me find anything in here. And so I opened up the door and I turned the light on, and nothing out of the ordinary there either. And so, I start thinking to myself, like, what the hell happened? Like, it was a distinct noise that it sounded like it didn't sound like it was far away enough that it could have come from outside. Like, just the proximity that it came from, there was nothing to lead me to believe that it came from outside. Like, it sounded like there was no other place it could have come from besides being in my house. And like, every attempt that I took at debunking the whole thing, I got nothing. It was so weird. I mean, a lot of it was, I'm sure that my mind probably ran away with itself a little bit just because I had just, gotten done watching a bunch of ghost shit. But, I mean, it was really weird. I mean, usually when you hear a noise of that magnitude, you're usually able to, debunk it as being, whether it being, something falling over, or, maybe like a cat scurrying around and knock something over. But my cat only stays inside, and it was in the same room as me, and I don't know. I can't explain it whatsoever. It's still kind of boggling my mind a little bit. Like, there were people outside, like, earlier in the evening, and they were lighting off fireworks. But the weird thing about it is that while that was one of my first other initial thoughts, is that it could have been a firework, it had this completely different, distinct noise than what fireworks have, like the mortar fireworks, the explosion that they make. It you can blatantly tell that type of noise, but this had a totally different sound to it that I can't really figure out what it was. And it's the most mind-boggling thing. And it's freaking me out still, just right at this very moment, because I feel like now that, if I go to bed, something's going to come flipping out of one of these rooms, and it's going to murder me in my sleep, or I'm going to wake up at random, and there's going to be this giant-ass demon, hovering above my bed, and it's going to be like, hey, I'm going to eat your soul, because I'm blah, 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 blah. And you're gonna go straight to the annals of hell, and blah. And I don't want to have to put up with that. I really don't. I mean, I'm only 25 years old, and I'd rather not get shipped off to hell at this current stage of my life. So, really hope that's not the case here. I got a lot of things I want to get done first, like everything. So, let's hope that's not the culprit of the evening. But yeah. Now, in other news, we're actually going through this race really well. I mean, this is much, much better than I had initially anticipated. I mean, the map, like, not the map, well, I guess it is the map, but like the diagram of the track here, it seems so much longer than it is. Like, I mean, we're only doing a, you know, minute and 18 laps. It's kind of crazy, because like the laps in Seattle, like those were almost a minute 30, and like that visually looked like a smaller course than this. So it's kind of throwing me off a little bit. But I mean, in the grand scheme of things, we're actually going to be able to get this done in probably about 5 videos. I mean, I know that sounds long. I know it does. But the fact is that 5 videos for a 50-lap track is actually pretty damn good, provided that, you know, I keep this up the way that I'm going, which I'm sure that I probably will. I mean, at this point, we're not really in any immediate danger of losing our lead. So, you know, once our tires get to the point where, you know, where the change is imminent, I will do that, but I'm trying to stretch this out as long as I can, because those pit stop laps are just terrible. So we're working with it though. This is good. I was actually really reluctant to do this race just because of how like windy these turns are. But again, we're holding our own pretty damn good. And that's awesome. I have got nothing against that. That'll put an end to your precious little field trip pretty damn quick. This might be our fastest lap up to date. Never mind, I lied. But as soon as we get to lap 10, then we'll call it quits for now. Just because A, it's the 10th lap, and I'm trying to have a little bit of symmetry with this. I like doing stuff like that. B, I kind of wanted to start tinkering around with some Rift videos. I did a little bit of testing with it, and I'm still tinkering around with the sound. Like, my microphone's a little bit off with that, because I'll be doing probably most of it on my laptop, just because the specs of that laptop are a little bit better for like a gaming purpose, I think, than my desktop is. The only downside is that when I'm far enough away from the microphone, it sounds a little bit distorted, and so I'm trying to find like the perfect balance with that. I can definitely still operate Rift on my desktop, but I mean, since we're getting into the summer and the air conditioning just doesn't really do much for my room, unless I'm filming it like really early in the day or super late at night when it's cool, I'm probably going to be filming it on my laptop when I'm downstairs. So, you know, I got to be able to make sure that I can do it both, like do both of them and have it still be like efficient enough to where, you know, it's not like you can tell like a significant difference between what system I'm using. So that's what we're shooting for. Let me get into this tunnel here. All right, guys. Well, let me balance out here. All right, guys. So we are 1/5 of the way done with this race, actually, so it's pretty damn good. So when we come back next time on Let's Play some more Gran Turismo 2, we're going to blaze through the next 10 laps of this race, and we'll move on from there. So it's actually pretty productive. I know that endurance races are a pain in the ass, but if we keep it up like this, it's going to be a pretty quick operation. So just stick with me, everybody. We'll have a good time. See you guys later. Bye.